In this video, we're going to be talking about the expression was für. Let's get started. Los geht's! Hallo und herzlich willkommen zu Coffee Break German. Ich bin Marc.
Und ich bin Andrea.
And as I said in this video, we're going to be talking about the expression was für. Our listener Leslie got in touch with us and asked, can you help me with the expression was für? So it's an interesting expression that can be used as both an exclamation, but also in a sense as a question, Andrea. Is that correct?
Yes, that's correct. So thank you, Leslie, for this amazing question. I love talking about this expression because it's quite interesting.
Okay, take it away then.
Yeah. So, when we look at the expression was für ein Tag, yeah, do you have any idea what this could mean, Mark?
Well, it kind of looks like what for a day, but I think when we use that as an exclamation, we're saying, oh, what a great day, was für ein Tag.
Genau, what a day, was für ein Tag.
Okay.
Yeah?
So I suppose it could be negative as well. It could be was für ein Tag.
Yes, that is very true.
Okay.
Yeah, and if we want to make it very clear that it was not a good day, oh, was für ein schrecklicher Tag.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay.
So what I think is quite interesting and was also interesting for Leslie to see is that although Tag is masculine singular and für normally requires an accusative, it doesn't say was für einen Tag, it says was für ein Tag.
Yeah, so here, because it's part of this expression, we just keep it as ein.
Genau, yeah. Because what we're saying really is was für ein Tag das war.
Okay, yes, so the tag is actually the subject.
Yes, exactly.
Right. So can we use this with other examples where, for example, we've got a feminine word or a neuter word?
Yes, absolutely. For example, was für eine Hochzeit.
Okay, what a wedding. Was für eine Hochzeit. Okay. And what about a neuter example?
Was für ein Festessen. Probably at the Hochzeit.
Absolutely. So what a feast. Was für ein Festessen. Okay, right. And what about a plural?
Yes, let's take a plural we all know. Leute.
Okay.
Was für Leute?
So how would we translate that?
Well, it could be positive as in, wow, amazing people or interesting people, yeah? Or was für Leute, yeah?
Okay, I get the idea. So in all of these, we're making an exclamation. What a day, what a wedding, what a meal. But
Genau.
Can we replace that was für with anything?
Yes, we can replace this with welch, and maybe some of our viewers have come across this before. Welch ein Tag.
Yeah, so we can use all of these exactly the same, but we use welch, and welch doesn't change in that situation.
No, so welch ein Tag, welch eine Hochzeit, welch ein Festessen, welch Leute. So here we would maybe add a little adjective, welch interessante Leute oder welch schreckliche Leute.
Okay, good. Right. So all of that is the exclamation, but we can also use was für in a question. So for example, how do we say, what kind of shoes would you like?
Genau. So if we ask a question and we use was für, then I'll make an example. Was für Schuhe möchtest du haben?
Okay, so let's put that as exclamation. And over here we've got was für Schuhe. What did you say? Was für Schuhe?
Möchtest du haben?
Möchtest du haben? Okay, so what kind of shoes would you like to have? Was für
Genau, so I don't know, maybe it's a child's birthday and they asked for shoes and you want to know what type of shoes, and they could say Turnschuhe, trainers, Gummistiefel, Wellington boots, Sandalen, sandals.
So there's no selection there, it's just out of every kind of shoe that exists, what kind of shoes do you want to have?
Genau, das ist richtig, ja.
Okay. Give us another example then.
Zum Beispiel a masculine word, singular. Was für einen Stift benutzt du?
Right, now I'm seeing something interesting immediately here. Was für einen Stift benutzt du? So here we have einen Stift.
Yes, this is einen because we are asking what type of pen are you using or do you use? And the Stift, the pen, is the accusative object, while du is the subject.
Yeah. Okay, so einen Stift here, it's the accusative case, it's the object, but du here would be the subject. Was für einen Stift benutzt du? So could we have an example, for example, with a dative?
Ja, zum Beispiel, you wanted to send a letter to a doctor, and I am asking you to what type of doctor you've sent, whatever you've sent. So, was für einen Arzt hast du geschrieben?
Okay, so was für einem Arzt hast du geschrieben?
Genau, I am asking you what type of doctor you wrote to.
Yes, okay, so that's why it's the dative, because it's einem Arzt to the doctor, to a doctor, and then we've got the dative in there, einem Arzt. Again, the subject is du still here.
Yes, and your answer could be, I don't know, a dermatologist or a GP or whatever doctor.
Okay, and in this case, can we replace these ones with welch?
Yes, but it wouldn't stay welch, but it would be welcher, welche, welches, and then obviously also the accusative and the dative and all these things that would change the endings of welch.
So it's easier to use was für.
Well, not necessarily, because also we have a slightly different meaning when we use welche, welchen, etc. If we look at the shoes, for example, and I ask, welche Schuhe möchtest du haben? Then there is a limited range on offer. When I say was für Schuhe, then you can pick any shoe that comes to your mind. And when I say welche Schuhe, then it's maybe shoes that are in that shop or shoes that you found on the internet, or maybe just shoes that are in your cupboard.
So there's a specific range there. It's not anything that your imagination can come up with. It's the specific range of shoes.
Yes. Yes.
Okay, well, hopefully, Leslie, this all makes sense and that you are now more familiar with was für and why it changes, why the ein might change in certain situations afterwards. If you've got a question like Leslie, then you can get in touch. Go to coffeebreakquestions.com and send us your question there. We look forward to receiving your questions and hopefully we'll be able to include them in a future episode of the show. If you've enjoyed this, make sure you like the video and subscribe to our channel and hit the little bell icon that appears, and that way you'll be notified whenever we post a new video.
And if you want to practice what you've learned today, just leave a little comment in the comment section below.
Also, vielen Dank. Dankeschön, Andrea.
Vielen Dank, Marc. Was für ein tolles Video heute.
What a great video indeed. Thank you, Leslie, for your comment and your question. And we'll be back soon with more Coffee Break German. Also, bis zum nächsten Mal.
Bis bald.